and Olan and Pua are deeply involved in that. And soon we'll be measuring on our dashboard even hyper-localized metrics and indicators that are actually derived directly from the community. And so I won't put you on the spot, Olin, but if there is time for Q&A, I do think it's interesting to hear from our experts and our leaders about what that means and how what our community is telling us they want to measure might mainly be aligned with what our state is saying in certain areas, and maybe there are more and better goals and metrics that we can measure. So let me stop there. There's a lot of information, but I just want to say that we're so delighted to be part of this hub Ohana, or family, as we say in Hawaii. So mahalo.
The loudspeaker is not working, but
I'm loud enough. So.
Yeah, we're loud enough. Just one tiny comment and sharing the experience from Basque Country. That's wonderful, Luciana. Thank you very much. So just to let you know that the Basque Country is also producing a voluntary local report. It's the 8th time that we're doing that, and for the last 2 years it's a multi-level. So it also has disaggregated data at the municipal, provincial, and the territory level. So that gives us a very, fine grain on understanding the differences and what needs to be, what are the gaps. How do you say that gap?
The pukas.
So that small pixel helps us very much. But one thing that you said, and that I think is very important to keep in mind, you talked about trust. I wouldn't say remind, because I'm pretty sure almost no one here knows, but this year, to 2025, is International Year on Peace and Trust. A bit of work to be doing there, and we've shared experiences from different hubs. We know that there are other elements that go beyond indicators and beyond SDGs and the silo metrics, and trust, culture, community are basically at the basis of most of it. So I think it's time for us to be active advocates for trust and to put that back in place, because we need that. I had a huge list of prepared questions, but I think it's time to open the floor for the rest of the participants in shapes of questions, but also comments and reflections, whether you come from a hub that is sitting here and you want to add, or whether you come from a different territory and you have contributions to make. So don't be very shy. Yeah, that's right. Very good. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Martin Zimmer. I'm a mangrove ecologist at the Leibniz Center for Tropical Marine Research in Germany. My question goes to the Bermuda Tuna World Capital, and please allow me to be a bit provocative.
Right.
I'm not a fisheries expert, but I really honestly wonder, how can we make tuna fisheries sustainable without reducing the catch? I guess that depends a lot on the species of tuna that you're talking about, but in general, I don't have the do have the impression that one of our biggest problems in terms of fishery sustainability is the amount of fish that we catch. What is your solution there?
Well, fortunately, at the moment, the tuna fisheries, the tropical tuna fisheries in the world, are in very good marks. Because I think that sometimes we put in conflict the industrial fishing business with the local artisan business. It has nothing to do here. We have the representative of some of the main local artisan fisheries in the Basque Country. The Secretary of the Local Fisheries in Gipuzkoa right here. But the tuna industry is faced in long line channels as well, because if we want to keep on consuming fish protein in the world, we have to keep going in these long line fisheries. That has to do with data, that has to do with science, that has to do data-based planning. And that's the work of the regional organizations that take care of these fisheries in its ocean. We have a lot of scientists working in the picking of the data. Today here we have a representative of a couple of companies working in satellite communications to look how we are doing during our fisheries. Satlink and Sunival are developing technologies that help us to know how it is going with different amounts of species in different oceans. And they help us to be more efficient in the way we catch fish. And they help us even to reduce our footprint, our carbon print during our species. It has to do with innovation. It has to do with culture as well. We want to keep fishing in the future. So the only way to do that is to ensure that there are fishes to catch in the ocean. The problem is that not everybody works as we do in Bermeo or in the family of Bermeo. There are a lot of companies all around the world that don't bother about what they are fishing and they are catching. They represent those who are under the illegal, under-regulated, and unreported fisheries. And even though we are a global potence, because we catch the 10% of the tropical tuna in the world, there is a 90% that it is not being sustainable, maybe. And I think that we have to put the focus on those who are not doing things well. And usually, the pressure is for those who are doing things well, especially the European countries. Because Europe is leading the green transformation of the world. We are very committed to the SDGs. But what about the global business? What about the global food system? What is Europe? Which is the Europe's model for the food security in the future? How many tuna do we import from those companies that with trade agreements bring their catches to the European market without any control? All the things we have done during this European, United Nations Affairs conferences to bring up our commitment to the European Pact. And that has to do with all this I'm telling. It is not about greenwashing. We do really believe in that because we are talking about the future of our families. And we are invested a lot in modernization, in technology, in knowledge, in science. We work very close together to improve the way we do business. The only thing we ask for is that everybody should have the same rules and everybody should work with the same rights. And that has to do with the market. So how do we do that? Making those who don't play fair, and that has to do also with how we can do every time we buy a can of tuna. Rosa?
Anyone else, please? Okay, I think we'll just move forward a bit, and I will ask a quick round of the four panelists to look at the future and to advance on next steps, commitments. What is else that we see that you've been doing loads, you are doing loads, but what else do you think needs to be done and how you propose to do so?
So I explained that we organized a new project launched last year, and so our focus on the not only for the business side, but also the to human development. So the young people get together and then to learn about the data science in the marine, and also the some another aspect for the marine. So the maybe they will be the new researcher in the field. I think it's a very important one. And then also the in Shizuoka we get together uh, to have the test field in the ocean. So the many startup company will come to make the test, because the small company is very find difficulty to make the experiments in the field of ocean. So because there are so many stakeholders, fisheries, and also the government and another regulations. So it is very difficult for small startups. So we are organized to make a smooth experiment field at in the Sunga Bay. So the to bring the startups, then the startup entrepreneurship is very important for the innovation. So I stress that point.
What is the way of looking at the future going to do?
We are trying to do things better and first learn from each other. We are working with your help, with the collaboration of UNOC in developing our own strategy of how do we contribute from the junior value chain to the SDG agenda. And for that, we are working together with our members in identifying which are our individual contributions to the SDG agenda and how we can generate a collaborative way to co-create new solutions and improve the way we are doing things better. That is called the ALMA methodology, and it has to do with involving citizens. By the way, they can learn about how tuna is contributing to the development of our territory, of Bermeo. On the other hand, we are working inside, trying to identify how innovation can help us to work better and be more sustainable, even more sustainable and even more competitive, because this is very important. We don't have to lose that economic sustainable point of view. The third one has to do with identifying where can we join forces, merge solutions, work together to co-create new solutions. And maybe collecting data for the coastal areas where we are impacting is a way to do that as well. And the fourth one will be how do we move all the financing or the resources to accelerate our positive impact. And at the same time, we are trying to develop our own collective narrative, our own collective storytelling. Because for us it's very important to share experiences with hubs like you guys who are doing things so well and trying to bring that this kind of learnings to our own territory and make the power be more impactful. So the future. This year, I would like to have our own voluntary report of how Bermeo Tune is contributing individually and collectively to the SDGs and the localization of the SDGs in Bermeo and surroundings. And that will be the kickoff of a very powerful work with the Tuna Cities Alliance. And for that, I would like to invite all the coastal areas that are working with Tuna, Sichuca, maybe Parana, maybe Hawaii as well, and other cities and hubs that really impact in Tuna all around the world to join this alliance and join forces to promote a sustainable way to do things together in Tuna.
Thank you.
I understand that it's a formal invitation for visiting Bermeo next year.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We are going to call it. We are going to have the tuna forum next year in Bermeo. So it's a good moment to go.
So let's let's see, is this working? We have to figure out how to get it. I think probably for us, looking forward, three things. On the innovative policy solutions, I mentioned this community-based project assessment tool. It is really difficult, right, when we take high-level goals and try to implement specific projects, whether it's a $2 billion green infrastructure project with systems and services, or we heard some of these interesting port projects that Dr. Hashimoto is talking about. But how do you actually bring the community together and the financing in a way that you don't lose the opportunity for that? So we've developed something with a group that we're working with, the Aina Aloha Economic Futures Group, a group of 17 Native Hawaiian leaders that have set an economic vision for the future of Hawaii. A community-based project assessment tool called the Malama Implementation Tool, which I like to call a layered cake of our local Hawaii values with the SDGs, with design engineering. And we've now been using this tool across different projects and how we can actually run a tool, bring community together to simplify decision making. Something I didn't mention in the formal presentation, but is something I think important to all of us here, is tourism and how that's connected to SDG 14 and a lot of what our partners are pioneering on regenerative tourism. And we do plan to have a regenerative tourism summit in Hawaii. And the reason why this matters is because we've heard a lot about the circular economy, but to my mind, the island economy is the original circular economy. And in Hawaii, when we think about a basic idea, is that you leave the beach better than when you found it. And that's regenerative approach. So even as we must achieve these goals by 2030, because science tells us we must, we can already start making them better and have a regenerative approach. And I think that we should be looking as hubs to the post-2030 development agenda as a regenerative future for island Earth, and we can start that now. And the third thing I would like to say is our future is our future. And the fact that we're joined by our youth delegation here, we have been talking about how we can work with our colleagues at our other hubs and all the youth activities and really look at Hawaii's SDG Youth Council model to have youth councils in the other hubs that they are working together and really sharing what localization looks like in practice. And so that is an invitation to our other hubs to learn from our SDG Youth Council and see how we can work together. So thank you.
Very interesting invitation so far, so thank you very much. Alan, about Paraná.
Well, I thought about two main goals that we can think about future. First of all is, as I said, we are working with the quadruple Alex. So the idea is to bring on board also the private sector. We are still working on it because there are potential to have more powerful partnerships, you know. So I believe that this is something that we must do. And sometimes as academia, we don't have a good communication. Sometimes we are in a bubble, and then the government, sometimes we have also to have a good partnership for things keep going, right? So I believe that bringing aboard also the private sector is a step for our hub. The second thing is thinking about SDG 14. Well, the next step is to have this project approved. So put the program in practice, and then also learn along the progress of the project. So I believe that these are two main roads that we have to follow. But well, by the way, these invitations that you are doing to Paraná is the same for you. Okay, so be our guests. It would be very nice to receive you there. And yeah, going to Hawaii, then I will bring my wife. Okay, so it's the paradise, right? So thank you very much. Sorry for
That was really
Thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure. There's loads of many things that we know that have been done by the hubs, but I think it was a bit of taste that gave us. So thank you very much. Please take the seats, and I would like to invite Nakita Aboya from the local 2030 steering committee, and also Isabel Soroa to your much just to do a bit of a wrap-up session. So, Nakita, thank you very much. She's a development economist and the youth representative on the UN Local 2030 Steering Committee, currently co-chaired by UN Haidar and FAO. She was born in Yaoundé, Cameroon, and she began an exceptional academic journey at the age of 14, subsequently culminating her PhD in economics. Her intellectual prowess has earned her prestigious awards, including the Cameroon Government's Excellence Scholarship and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Mentoring Program. She's deeply committed to advancing the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, and she has worked with the Cameroonian Ministry of Economy, where she contributed to the 2020-2030 National Development Strategy, the United Nations, where she contributed to the resilience measurement frameworks, and the World Bank, where she has analyzed the fiscal barriers to investing in climate for the country economic memorandum of the Democratic Republic of Congo. She's a passionate advocate for youth inclusion in policy making and has represented youth at some of the world's most influential platforms like the UN General Assembly, the Summit of the Future, the World Forum on Local Economic Development, and the World Bank Youth Summit. Most recently, she led the Global Youth Consultation ahead to the fourth Finance for Development Conference that will be held in a few weeks in Seville, producing a recommendation on youth access to finance in collaboration with FAO, World Food Forum, and the UN Youth Office. She is today representing the local 2030 coalition's steering committee. Our colleagues from the Secretariat couldn't join, but they sent the best ambassador they could bring on. Thank you very much for joining us here, and please share your thoughts on SDG 14, Blue Economy, Sustainable Development and Localization from a youth perspective. Thank you very much. That was a huge introduction. That was long.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. First, aloha.
Aloha.
Good morning. Bom dia. Buenos dias. Konnichiwa. It's amazing to see this diverse audience here, and it's a big honor to be invited at the UN Ocean Conference here in Nice, hosted by France and Costa Rica. So thanks to the host and thank you to the organizing team for making it happen. I know how difficult it can be. So before starting, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Hawaii SDG Council. There is nothing about youth without youth. So thank you for being here. If we can make a huge round of applause for them. Thank you. So today we are talking about sustainable economy and multi-stakeholder governance. And we are also at the UN Ocean Conference. But why do we care? So before going to the recommendations, the challenges, the first thing is why should we care? And I had this conversation with Alan, Dr. Alan here, about ocean literacy. It's not everyone who knows the impact that we have on oceans. So how many of you here like fish, for example? A lot. Okay. So you know that the ocean provides us fish. Also, how many of you here breathe? Like, right? All of us, I guess. So oceans actually provides more than 50% of the oxygen we breathe. So it's a question of life. It's not just a conversation. And in addition, ocean also absorbs 1/3 of the human-made carbon emission and also 90% of the greenhouse gas extra heat. However, by doing that, while it is protecting us, it is also harming itself. Why? Because when absorbing this heat, it causes ocean acidification that destroys the marine life and, of course, affects the livelihood of the people living at the coastal borders. So this is a key topic to be discussed, and it is yet one of the least funded STD. And as our colleague here said before, by 2030, it is planned that the ocean will contribute trillions for the economy. So it is really an urgent question, a urgent problem. So now that we know a bit how or why should we care, now we can dive into potential solution that we can take to preserve this ocean that gives us a lot. And I want us to think that it is not just one person that can achieve it. It is our responsibility. It is our oceans, and only together with collaboration, multi-stakeholder collaboration with civil society, private sector, youth, government, that we can achieve this. And this is why I thought about two levels of solutions. So, of course, at the institutional level, we can think about protecting the blue carbon systems with the mangrove, the seagrass, and also the marine animals. For example, I didn't know, but the whales actually absorb 33 tons of the carbon emitted throughout their lifetime. And this is equivalent to 1,500 trees in year. So at the institutional level, these can be protected. Now, at the practical level, what can we do? What you will tell me, you are a young person, you do not have any power, you do not have any impact. I do not have neither. But the little action we take actually have a greater impact. So, for example, you can raise awareness. As we discussed before, not everyone is aware why they should consider plastic pollution. Not everyone is aware. So you can talk to your friends, you can talk on the social media, you can come to this conference to advocate. Now there are also many other issues like financial constraint. Not everyone has the means to be here. There are visa access. Not everyone got the visa. There are many challenges that can stop you to maybe be in these conferences, but you can talk to your friends, for example, about this. You can be involved in capacity building events, you can be involved in youth consultations, and as mentioned, the local 2030 organizes youth consultations toward big conferences such as the Finance for Development Conference that is happening soon in Seville. And there are discussions for the other conferences such as the COP that will happen in Brazil in November and the World Social Summit in Qatar. So these are some ways we can all be involved, and I will be very happy to discuss this further later since I was told that I have 5 minutes. So I hope I stick into the 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Since it seems that one of the commitments that we're moving forward is youth and the hubs, there's a strong conversation to keep you involved and to move forward. Thank you very much. Now I'll give the floor to Isabel Soroa just for the final remarks, and thank you.
Thank you, Aranza. Thank you for your inspiring speech intervention. It's incredible, amazing to see young people like you and to have such clear ideas and commitments for the oceans, and that's very inspiring. I just wanted to give you thank you for being here, for showing your interest, for attending. Thank you all the speakers also from coming from so far to share your projects. And there have been a lot of ideas. I bring in my pockets also. I think that all of us have taken big notes of things we can implement in our towns, cities, regions. I wish you the best for on your local coalition, your local hub. I wish you the best, I insist. And I think there will be a lot of things, potential things to work, to benchmark from each other. And I think I get one of Alan's intervention towards. I think you are totally open for partnerships, for collaboration, and I think it's the key. And what we have seen here, it's a very big and clear example of things do that has been done locally, but how global impact you can reach from your words, interventions, projects. So I think it's amazing you can share this and keep going. We take good notes and hope to see you next year in Bermeo. It's in a conference. I insist in the invitation because we are partners. So I think it's a good opportunity to keep sharing. And once again, if you come to Bilbao, you will be more than welcome, and we wait there for you and to enjoy our city and our region also. So thank you very much. Can I you have a wine to share with us, so you are more than welcome to come to the bar and share a wine with us. And
Some things.
soft drinks as well. So thank you, and
Yeah. Don't forget to take your pass for to see by the in our capital, and let's keep talking with these professors. Thank you very much. We will, yeah, the two,